Good evening and welcome to our broadcast. This is NTV Tonight. We have plenty of news coming your way, including some stories regarding the ongoing Operation Ganye. And besides that, the Nation Media Group has also held Thanksgiving prayers to thank the Almighty for the reopening of NMG having been closed to close to 5 weeks. Now, besides that, we've got plenty of stories coming your way, so do stay with us as we get you into the mood for the news and whatever's been trending and happening across the country.
NTV Tonight, brought to you by DFCU, going further together.
Your top stories this hour.
We have lost innocent people through some of these vehicles which are not roadworthy.
4%, around 4% is caused by the DMCs.
The government's crackdown on vehicles in dangerous mechanical condition is being welcomed by road safety experts who say the operation is long overdue.
Let it be an operation for everyone. Let everyone be involved, even the churches.
As the crackdown on unroadworthy taxis continues, NTV sought to find out how much it costs to buy and prepare a new taxi for the road.
A good condition car in Uganda can come from 60 million to 85 million.
Also on NTV Tonight,
they were waiting for today for WHO to declare.
Uganda has reached the end of the 42-day enhanced monitoring period following its most recent imported Ebola case.
To us, it means that we are going to have more restrictions lifted off the country.
And
wanted to claim responsibility of the assassination attempt on President Museveni.
The prosecution in the treason case against opposition figure Dr. Kizza Besigye and his co-accused Obed Lutale has continued to present video and audio recordings to court as part of the evidence.
DFCU, going further together.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Joram Paul Sonko, and our sign language interpreter is Maureen Nambalira. And so it begins. Now, the third day of witness testimony in the treason trial against Dr. Kizza Besigye saw the prosecution tender a 2-hour, 49-minute audio recording, which it says captures discussions about an alleged plot to assassinate President Yoweri Museveni ahead of the 2026 elections. David Joe was in court and brings us this report.
In the audio recording, prosecution witness Andrew Wilson is heard explaining why his alleged company could not finance the terrorism training in Kisumu as earlier planned in December that year, citing a financial shortfall.
At that point, I'd given excuses why the planned training camp in Kisumu had been cancelled in December. The imaginary company that I was representing did not come up with the financing for December.
The recording then discussions allegedly involved, according to the prosecution, appeared concerned about the timing of the planned operations. The prosecution alleges that Besigye wanted the operations to commence ahead of the general elections, with the recording also referring to coordinates of airstrips in Uganda and in Mahagi in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which prosecutions say were to be used in the movement of ammunition.
The plan was to blame the assassination attempt of President Museveni on the ADF.
Who brought that idea?
That was something myself and Joe Wakahima discussed, and we're now presenting it to Dr. Besigye.
According to the audio played in court, the alleged plan included drone strikes targeting State House in Kampala, where the president resides, as well as the residence of Prime Minister Robin Anabanja.
That the president mainly sleeps in Kampala. I had asked them, and what I'm asking now is for the details of the president's travels, the president's movements and locations. Because if we were planning an attack, which we were, an imaginary attack, we would need to know where he was and what routes he was using.
The recording further captures discussions on who would claim responsibility for the alleged attacks. Besige's alleged ally, Joe Wakaima, is said to have opposed linking the attacks to the Allied Democratic Forces or ADF, arguing that doing so could damage Uganda's international image and relations. The audio says Wakaima proposed that the responsibility for the attacks be claimed by their own group.
JW wanted to claim responsibility of the assassination attempt on President Museveni. Dr. Besigye and myself are saying to Wakahima that we blame ADF. Dr. Besigye wants to deny the assassination attempt because it would bring negative publicity, negative attention, and also hurt future international relations.
The court has also been told of another alleged meeting held on June 14, 2024, again in Geneva, this time at a different apartment. Prosecution says it has both audio and video evidence from that meeting contained in a recording lasting about 2 hours and 1 minute. The court is scheduled to watch and listen to that evidence tomorrow as the prosecution continues presenting its case against Dr. Besigye and his co-accused. David Ijo, NTV.
Now, away from court, let's turn our focus on the transport sector. The government's crackdown on vehicles in dangerous mechanical condition, DMCs, is being welcomed by road safety experts who say the operation is long overdue. However, they warn that fixing the vehicles alone will not be enough, calling for tougher vehicle inspections, better driver training and improved road networks to reduce road crashes, as Beata Mwema reports.
Following the Ministry of Works and Transport's joint operation with Uganda Police to remove vehicles in dangerous mechanical condition from Kampala roads, we sought expert views on the impact of the operation and what more needs to be done to improve road safety. The operation, which began on Monday, has so far targeted Greater Kampala metropolitan areas, with several vehicles found to have defects that could put road users at risk. Road safety consultant Dewo Biaruhanga of the Uganda Professional Drivers Network welcomes the operation, saying the number of vehicles in poor mechanical condition had reached a worrying level. However, Biaruhanga says vehicles taken off the road for repairs should be thoroughly inspected and cleared before they are allowed back on the road.
They should go for the mandatory inspection, because the mandatory inspections will certain that the vehicle is roadworthy. We have lost innocent people through some of these vehicles which are not roadworthy. You find vehicles, they don't have seat belts. The drivers don't know how to use seat belts.
For the chairperson of the Road Safety Advocacy Coalition Uganda, Fred Tumwine, the operation is necessary given the impact of the deaths and injuries caused by road crashes, as well as the economic losses, environmental pollution, and disruption of public transport. According to Uganda Police Annual Crime Statistics, dangerous mechanical conditions are directly linked to 4.47% of all traffic crashes in the country.
I want to make it clear, these are recorded road crashes, but there are many road crashes which go without recording. For example, the World Health Organization, the Ministry of Health, they give us the figure to a tune of 12,000 deaths per year.
But Tumwine says mechanical faults are only one part of the road safety problem. He says the operation needs to be supported by other measures, including better enforcement, regular vehicle inspections, and improved road safety systems.
Research, we have it that road crashes are mainly caused by a number of factors, but the human factor contributes to around 80 to 90%.
Biaruhanga also points to driver behavior as another major concern. He says taxi drivers in particular should be properly trained and registered so they can be held accountable for how they use the roads.
The challenges we're having on the road is not only the vehicles, even the people behind these vehicles need to be trained. Otherwise, You find people got licenses, yes, but over a period, how is their attitude? Their attitude is not checked. And also to have clear data of people who are driving these taxis.
He also argues that Uganda's shift away from taxis should be upheld, noting that other East African countries have maintained or expanded bus-based public transport.
When you look at our neighboring countries, they are well organized. For instance, when you go to Tanzania, they are no longer using taxis. They use coasters and buses, and they have data for everyone who is transporting passengers around or outside their cities.
The experts agree that removing dangerous vehicles from the road is a positive step, but they say lasting improvements in road safety will require more than just an operation. They want the government to address vehicle safety, driver behavior, and road conditions together to make Kampala and other parts of the country safer for all road users. Beata Mwema, NTV.
Well, now, that report informs the basis of our poll question this evening. What are your thoughts on replacing taxis with bus-based public transport in Kampala, capital city? What are your thoughts on replacing taxis with bus-based public transport in Kampala, capital city? You can share your feedback with us online. That is on X and Facebook for those following proceedings in that regard. I'll be sampling some of your feedback as the bulletin continues. Now, moving on Monday, the government began a crackdown on unroadworthy vehicles, including taxis. As the crackdown continues, NTV Uganda's Lydia Feliakulu sought to find out how much it costs to buy and prepare a new taxi for the road, and now brings us the story.
Funds, commonly known as drones, are increasingly becoming the preferred choice for Ugandans joining the public transport business. Dealers say the change in the market has been gradual, with some of the old taxi models disappearing from showrooms several years ago.
Has been, they have been evolving and improving in technology and the chip, the performance. However, there's also other options like Nissan, those are Caravan, which they look similar like this one.
The Toyota Hiace now comes in different modules, with the price depending on the year of manufacture, condition, transmission, and whether it is two-wheel or four-wheel drive.
The way we determine the prices of motor vehicles, we determine the prices according to the grading of the car and the condition, where the general condition of a motor vehicle, and also the tax the car pays. You know, these highest drones, like, they do not pay the same taxes. Like, you'll find the four-wheel paying the different tax, two-wheel is paying the different tax, and the automatic is paying different tax. The manual also is paying different tax.
Dealers say a new Toyota Hiace can cost between 60 million and 85 million shillings. But buying the vehicle is only the first expense. Before it can begin carrying passengers, the owner has to meet a number of other costs, starting with registration and a number plate.
So since the government introduced these addicto number plates, we are charging them as separately from the motor vehicle, from the total cost of the car.
Seat provision is when car is coming from Japan, these seats are according to Japan necessary. But when they are coming to Uganda, Uganda's seat setup for local car is different. Here people, they like to put their seats according to their choice or their needs. So usually Hiaces, they don't come with seats.
The number plate alone costs 750,000 shillings, according to the cost breakdown we obtained. The owner must also obtain public service vehicle or PSV license, listed at 1.218 million shillings. Because the vehicle is being used commercially, the owner is required to meet the applicable income tax obligation. The supplied figures put this at 20,000 shillings per passenger seat annually, amounting to about 280,000 shillings for a 14-seater vehicle. There is also mandatory third-party insurance, listed at 87,000 shillings. Another cost comes with altering the vehicle to suit local public transport requirements. costs. The supplied figures indicate an application fee of 20,000 shillings, with each alteration attracting another 20,000 shillings, bringing the total list alteration costs to 160,000 shillings. Toyota Hiaces imported into Uganda do not necessarily come with the seating arrangement required for the local taxi market. Dealers say buyers often have seats installed according to the vehicle's intended use and the customer's preference. At Chisenyi, one of the areas where these modifications are done, seat installers offer different designs at different prices.
It's a simple tour like this. This one costs 3 million. Then there is another tour, the one which is complicated, it bends, the one which is flexible. That one will make it on 4.5 million. Then there is the other simple seats for drones, which the taxis use. That one costs 2 million.
For a taxi configured to carry more passengers, the seating arrangement is also determined by the number of passengers the vehicle is intended to carry. The buyer must also install guards and carrier for luggage. These fittings cost 1.5 million shillings according to the supplied figures. The installer says the package can include front and rear guards, light guards, and a roof carrier. The tires are also another expense. The cost sheet puts the minimum price of one tire at about 300,000 shillings. Replacing all 4 tires would therefore require at least 1.2 million shillings. The vehicle must then be branded or marked to identify it as a passenger service vehicle. The supplied estimate for this is about 200,000 shillings. Taken together, the additional costs listed excluding the purchase price of the vehicle come to roughly 6.6 million to 8.6 million shillings, depending largely on the type of seats installed. This means a person buying a Hiace at around 74 million shillings could need more than 80 million shillings to have the vehicle purchased, fitted out, and ready for commercial passenger transport. Lydia Feli Akulu, NTV Tonight.
Kampala, let's turn our focus to what is happening in Mukono. The police have stepped up operations against vehicles operating without the required permits and PSV tax. Those carrying cargo without a goods vehicle license, vehicles fitted with sirens and dazzling lights, as well as those that have been modified in ways that violate the law. The operation conducted in parts of Mukono along the Kampala-Jinja Highway also targeted border riders operating without permits and those carrying more than one passenger. Becca Senyonga Mulinde reports.
Today, the traffic police, together with the Ministry of Works and Transport, intensified their Barabara Salama vehicle operation along the Kampala-Jinja Highway with the aim of enforcing road safety. During the operation, several taxis were impounded after they were found carrying passengers to capacity and had no seat belts.
And on top of that, this man should get out. Come out. Pay him his money.
According to Michael Kananura, the traffic police spokesperson, some of the impounded taxis and other vehicles had been illegally modified, which is against traffic rules and regulations.
We had also seen on these other checkpoints of Maya, Matuga, there are still other violators on these roads, especially the matatus, the omnibuses. We see that most of these vehicles which have licenses that permit them to carry 14 passengers, they still carry more than 14 passengers. So these are the things basically we are looking at.
The operation has been aimed at cracking down on vehicles that do not meet the required standards for use on the roads, including those operating under the PSV category without paying the required fees, vehicles operating without licenses to transport goods, drivers without permits, vehicles carrying items that are not authorized to be carried, bus drivers without badges, and other violations.
Having illegal modifications. These vehicles that have tint first of all, and then they also add other photos in the glasses, windscreens of the vehicles of the vehicle, in the sides. Others have so many colors. You have seen so many vehicles, and all this is illegal.
Norman Musinga, the acting deputy director of traffic and road safety, used the opportunity to educate passengers about the importance of fastening their seatbelts while traveling. The operation also targeted border riders who carried more than one passenger and those without a driving license.
You have survived.
Drivers of vehicles with dazzling and flickering lights, as well as those with sirens, had their vehicles impounded.
Tukutana emotoka ebbiri as Land Cruiser ezibadde n'obutaala. Obutaala obwo tebukkiriza mwezi emotoka. Bulijjo tukola operations emotoka ezo ne tuzimala mu kibuga. Nene zibanga zikomawo weziraba nti operations oluusi ziscalinze down.
A bus belonging to Marsh Power Company was also impounded and its driver was ordered to offload the passengers after the vehicle was found carrying luggage together with the passengers, yet it had a PSV license.
But then all of a sudden, you go and remodify this vehicle into a cargo bus. You have seen how it was closed, sealed off. No passengers would access the chairs. We cannot tell because it is now going to be taken and open to see what exactly is being carried inside there, other than the passengers. So all this is breach of operator's license.
Traffic police says the operations and enforcement campaigns will continue until people comply with the road traffic rules and regulations. Becca Senyonga Mulinde, NTV.
Number of operations are ongoing, so do not fall victim, I should say. You're still watching NTV Tonight with me, Joram Paulsonga and Maureen Nambalira. When we do return, we have other stories coming your way, and here is still to come. Still to come. In today's Eco Talk,
we have surpassed the population of the 60s. We are now above the 2,500 mark.
we take a closer look at the initiatives driving giraffe recovery in Uganda.
The rate of poaching is still really a big issue.
And in sport,
we are 4 in the group, and when we win 2 games, definitely you have qualified and moved it.
The Uganda Lady Volleyball Cranes' emphatic start to the 2026 Volleyball African Nations Championship continued today with a blistering straight sets victory over Burkina Faso.
Hello, Mr. Mukasa.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Are you the broker?
The original one.
I was told you have very good rentals.
Hey, that is right. Eh? How many bedrooms do you want?
I want 3 bedrooms.
Okay, did I tell you of the price?
Yes, of course. 500,000.
Ah, no. This side, the salary went a bit high.
Why?
Because the paint we use is of good quality. So the place gained the value.
Which paint?
Global paint.
How?
For the ceiling, for us we use Global Mat. And for the inside walls, we use Global Silk Vinyl.
Okay, tell me about the outside walls.
Outside we use Global Weather Coat Emulsion so that the walls don't peel.
Ha!
Hey.
I'm really impressed. The precision you put while painting, I'm willing to pay any amount.
That is true, because here for us quality is paramount and the place becomes humidity.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
Welcome to our new office. This is where the parking is, and then the warehouse front door, here. The reception, here. The lorry's entrance, there. And their exit, there. This is it.
So where is the building?
Fast, stress-free construction. Get your factory-made buildings in 12 weeks with SafBuild. Order yours now. SafBuild, a quality building solution from Uganda Bati.
Institutional transformation starts with people. This September, Uganda's largest gathering of professional returns. Welcome to the 31st ICPAU Annual Seminar. themed Transforming Institutions and Lives for Sustainable Growth. The 3-day event is designed to challenge how you think, lead, and grow. Discover how AI is reshaping institutions. Discover how to build sustainable investments and generational wealth. It's more than a seminar. It's an opportunity to learn, connect, and transform. Join us from the 2nd to the 4th of September at the Imperial Resort Beach Hotel, Entebbe, or join us online. For fees and registration, visit www.icpau.co.ug.
Our bodies are sustained by nature's endless gifts. From the food we eat to the air we breathe, the vitamins and minerals strengthen us, helping us glow and thrive. Introducing Vitamin N for nature. Give your skin a daily dose of Vitamin N. Experience Amara Skincare. Packed with Vitamin N. Amara. Embrace nature.
On the 1st of September, we gather to celebrate and honor God's mouthpiece, the prophet to the nations, Prophet Elvis Mbonye, the prophet whose life's labor of love is to see Christ fully formed in us. And this year, every nation, tribe, people, and tongue will stand before the holy throne and worship God. Tuesday, 1st September 2026, 5 p.m. at the Zoe Grounds, Plot 47, Chigolweza, Kampala, Uganda, along the Entebbe Express Highway. Entrance is free. For reservations, call, send a WhatsApp, or visit our website at www.prophetelvis.com/honor. This is how we do it.
Glad to have you back. We continue with NTV Tonight. Members of Parliament sitting on the Physical Infrastructure Committee were left astonished by the revelation that the government had spent 600 million shillings for the levelling of a 1.8-acre piece of land. Members of Parliament were disturbed that the ground levelling was undertaken to benefit a private contractor, Imthia Construction, to build a factory for the production of concrete railway sleepers. It was indicated that while the job for which the factory was built has since been accomplished, the factory is yet to revert to the government in accordance with the terms of the contract. We have the story.
Aboard the train were the members of Parliament sitting on the Physical Infrastructure Committee, whose destination was Lugazi Municipality, before returning to Kampala. They were on an oversight inspection of the Kawolo concrete sleeper factory. The committee was interested in the physical verification of the 1.8-acre piece of land on which the Imthia Construction factory was built. Uganda Railways Corporation assigned Imthia the land on a 5-year contract, which coincided with the period the meter gauge railway was being rehabilitated. MPs were eager to learn that the government was obligated to level the 1.8-acre piece of land that the factory sits on at over 500 million shillings.
We use 600 million to level for leveling.
Yes, but there's no way can own the foundation. No,
so that's what you told us.
Also disturbing to the MPs was the assertion that the government owned the land but not the factory.
The land belongs to someone else, yes, and the building belongs to someone else. What kind of ownership will be?
But can leveling take 600 million?
The management of the Uganda Railways Corporation appear to agree with the MPs.
Those are the normally before in the press. I think I told you about this. We said these are some of the things.
You told us in the committee that we own the foundation.
But we don't have any share in the factory. He wrote back to say, according to the contract which was signed, the factory belongs to Imthia. I got concerned really. I was also like you by then.
The facility should return to the government after the 5-year contract.
I don't think it's worth it really.
Is the Mafia's contract still running or it ended?
No, the contract ended. Now the factory is here idle. Though they are paying us money for the lease of our land, so we are only benefiting from the lease of the land.
What government is now getting from the contractor is 1.2 million times 12 times 5, which is less than even 50 million. Is that cost effective?
In 2019, the government secured 28.9 million euros, approximately 126 billion shillings loan facility from Spain for the rehabilitation of the meter gauge railway and to build the capacity of the corporation staff. The oversight inspection marked an end to the inquiry, paving the way for the committee to write its report for presentation to Parliament. Jackson Onyango, NTV.
Well, now away from that, we turn to matters health. Uganda will be declared Ebola-free by the World Health Organization after completing the mandatory 42 days countdown with no new cases since the last discharged case on July 16th. Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Diana Twine said countries that impose restrictions on Uganda, especially on movement, should now lift them without any doubt over safety. Walter Mwesije reports.
Uganda's continued exhibition of a clean bill of health means that today marks the end of the Ebola outbreak by the World Health Organization's standards.
But Uganda we had declared earlier because we had assessed, we had used science, we had assessed the risk, we had assessed the whole chain of transmission and the dynamics of importation of the virus in the country, and we knew that we were free from Ebola. That was the basis we declared. However, WHO had to wait because that's the process, that is the guideline, that's what it says. But for us, we were really free from Ebola at that time when we declared.
There has not been any new Ebola cases reported within Uganda's territory in 42 days. Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Twine, is hopeful that restrictions on the country should henceforth be lifted.
Unless they have other reasons, but now they don't have any other reason. They definitely lift the restrictions of the country, and Ugandans should be free to travel to any country.
However, transmission continues in the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, and therefore Uganda's vigilance will remain essential.
Particularly the work that Uganda is doing in provision of treatment and laboratory support in at least 2 sites at the moment, in Aru and Kaseni, during this outbreak. And we hope that this example of cross-border collaboration can be amplified in the region.
Government will now open up 2 additional treatment centers in DRC, making them 4 to bolster the containment of the infection. Today's announcement follows a donation of a high-tech mobile lab from the African Development Bank and World Health Organization to the Ministry of Health.
This lab that we are handing over today will be instrumental in sustaining gains in diagnostics and strengthening Uganda's readiness to respond to future public health threats.
Walter Mwesije, NTV.
And now we return in-house. Nation Media Group Uganda has held Thanksgiving prayers following the reopening of its media platforms. That is after a month-long closure. The prayers held at Green Hill Academy in Chibuli brought together NMG staff and management to reflect on the challenges that the organization faced during the shutdown and also give thanks for the resumption of operations. The service was led by Reverend Father Deogracius Chibi, who called on leaders to exercise servant leadership and urged NMG journalists and staff to remain committed to informing and educating the public with integrity, truthfulness, and fairness.
On June 28, 2026, Nation Media Group's media platforms went off air following a directive that resulted in the suspension of operations across its television, radio and print platforms. The month-long shutdown disrupted the organization's operations and created uncertainty among staff before the affected platforms were reopened. Following the reopening, Nation Media Group management has organized Thanksgiving prayers to reflect on the experience and give thanks for the organization's return to service. The Thanksgiving Mass was led by Reverend Father Deogracius Chibi at Green Hill Academy in Chibuli, Kampala. In his message, Father Chibi commended Nation Media Group journalists for continuing to inform the public on matters of national importance, urging them to remain steadfast in their role.
We are having so many people who are lost in the profession. You are lost in different jobs. Is what you are doing your calling? Are you meant to be a journalist? Or you are just here because there are no work, there are no jobs? You must discover your true calling and use that calling to serve yourself and other people.
Father Chibi urged all the staff members to remain committed to responsible journalism and their duty to serve the public. He also challenged leaders to use their positions to serve those they lead, saying leadership should be exercised with humility, grace, and mercy.
Somebody said that power corrupts, that absolute power corrupts absolutely. See, when you have power, and nobody can restrain your power, you must be merciful to those you lead. So we must pray for whoever shuts you down to remember authority and power is a blessing to a human being, and we must use it to build our country, to build our nation.
Father Chibi further called on employers and employees to foster respectful and supportive workplaces, saying a conducive working environment is critical to the growth of both individuals and institutions.
Every time the universe warns you before tragedy, this is something that can happen another day because we don't know. We are thanking God that we are back to work. What if the same person who shut us down wakes up another day and thinks must be shut down? What will happen?
He also urged employees to plan for life beyond their careers, encouraging them to prepare for retirement while also investing time in nurturing their families. Nation Media Group Managing Director Susan Nsibira called on staff to embrace forgiveness and reconciliation as the company moves forward in serving its audiences.
I encourage you, please, guard your heart against bitterness, against anger, against malice. Just be yourself. Let us do our jobs. Let us do them well. Pray here. Forgive us as we forgive those who trespass against us. And it's easier said than done. But I ask us all to actually forgive those who trespass against us.
Nsibira also thanked God for sustaining the organization through the month-long shutdown and welcomed the opening of its platforms.
I thank God for your creative ability, the abilities we have to tell stories like nobody can tell them. So we trust that God will continue to guide us, to guide us, to preserve us, and to allow us to do our work with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, and with insight.
The Thanksgiving comes as Nation Media Group Uganda resumes its operations, with management urging staff to remain focused on the organization's core mandate of informing, educating, and serving the public. Betty Mudondo, NTV Tonight.
Well, fun fact, I do know quite a number of faces in that report. Now, moving away, Uganda is emerging as a conservation success story in Africa's efforts to protect the giraffe. Through scientific monitoring, anti-poaching interventions, strategic translocations, and community engagement, conservationists are working to reverse decades of population decline and secure the future of one of Africa's most iconic species. In today's EcoTalk, Benjamin Jumba takes a closer look at the initiatives driving giraffe recovery in Uganda.
The giraffes, this type was declared.
Uganda is home to the Nubian giraffe, a critically endangered subspecies whose survival is increasingly dependent on targeted conservation efforts. The giraffe is not only Africa's tallest land mammal, it is also deeply woven into the continent's natural heritage and ecosystems. Uganda's giraffe population once stood at about 2,500 individuals in the 1960s. before declining sharply over subsequent decades.
In the 60s, we had 2,500 about there, but this population almost got wiped out. I think it came to about below 500 in the 90s, and this was because of the general civil strife that was in the country.
One of the key threats has been poaching.
So people get into the parks and they set snares. Sometimes they may not be targeting giraffes. They leave a snare in the landscape. These snares end up, harming the giraffes.
But the threat of poaching is still really a big issue. We note it. We still need to see how to bring communities on board to reduce this indiscriminate poaching. The snares are continuing to maim our giraffes.
According to the State of Wildlife Resources in Uganda report 2026, the giraffe population fell to about 880 animals between 2011 and 2014, but the population has since recorded a remarkable recovery. Estimates rose to 2,072 between 2018 and 2020, 2,414 between 2021 and 2022, and about 2,519 between 2023 and 2025.
We have now moved from the number, we have surpassed the population of the 60s. We are now above the 2,500 mark, which we used to have in the 60s, which means we are really doing very well.
We can see that the numbers are actually increasing. Murchison Falls still being the stronghold of the giraffes in Uganda, and actually could be the stronghold across Africa for the Nubian giraffe.
Uganda now holds nearly half of the world's remaining wild Nubian giraffe population, making the country a critical stronghold for the subspecies.
And the population in Uganda is actually the biggest population in the world, okay, in the wild, okay? So we're doing very well.
Uganda is doing pretty well in terms of giraffe conservation. The country holds about 50% of the world's Nubian giraffe population, which is quite significant.
Across Africa, conservationists are stepping up efforts to protect giraffe populations found in 21 countries. But protecting giraffes is not only about increasing their numbers.
Well, people should be invested in giraffe because this is an animal that is a flagship species. It opens up spaces for other wildlife. This is an animal that is also linked to the history of the country. There are some places that they call, what we are calling the Nubian giraffe, they call the Ugandan giraffe because it's quite abundant here. So this is an animal that is linked to many African cultures.
So at least we needed to have the numbers double in every landscape. Yes, and we are also, in addition, we needed to do a lot of translocations to ensure that the genetic pool is not compromised.
The translocations involve moving giraffes between protected areas to establish new populations, expand their range, and reduce the risks associated with isolated populations, including inbreeding.
They were only in Murchison. We got some in Lake Mburo, I think around 2015, or about there. We took some to Kidepo, we took some to Pianupe, so that actually we can spread the threat.
In some cases, translocation is also being used as a precautionary conservation measure. Giraffes have been moved from one part of Murchison Falls National Park, considered potentially vulnerable to oil-related risks, as Uganda prepares for the start of oil production in the area.
Also, we moved some giraffes from the north to the southern bank, just to avert the threat of oil and gas. In case oil and gas affected them, or poaching affected them in the north, we should have at least the remaining population on the southern bank of the Nile.
The latest translocation was conducted about 3 weeks ago, with the number of giraffes moved to Ajai Wildlife Reserve. One of the key documents guiding these interventions is Uganda's Giraffe Conservation Strategy and Action Plan, which provides a framework for protecting the species and expanding conservation efforts. Ecologists say expanding giraffe populations across different protected areas is already bringing immediate conservation benefits, while also creating a safety net for the future.
And one of the other things was management of invasives. In Lake Mburo, we had a lot of acacia, and there were no species that are eating them. Taking the giraffes has helped us to to manage the problem of acacia as an invasive because it's the preferred food for the giraffes. So we're doing both enrichment of the habitats, boosting numbers as we move them from one place to another, diversification of species per landscape to improve the tourism potential. You come to one place, you see different animals.
Everywhere we have taken the giraffes, they're actually doing very well. Those in the south, we are yet to actually do a very thorough survey and know how many there are now. But we know they are there. We keep monitoring them. We have of recent collared some so that we can know their movements and monitor them and know how far they move from place to place.
Now, saving Uganda's giraffes is no longer only about protecting the animals we have today. It is about moving them to where they can survive, reproduce, and remain part of Uganda's wildlife heritage for generations to come. I'm Benjamin Jumbe, NTV EcoTalk.
Well, now, earlier on, we did ask you to share your thoughts on replacing taxis with best public transport in Kampala, capital city. We do have some of your opinions coming through here. Barnabas Kutosi on X says, before replacing taxis, work on the road. Taxis are not the main problem of Kampala. It's the infrastructure. If we still have these poor roads in Kampala, there's no order that will be created. Thank you, Kutosi, for your opinion. And then also on X still, we have an opinion from Joled, says replacing commuter taxis with best public transport in Kampala offers a way to reduce traffic congestion and pollution, but it faces major challenges regarding implementation and the livelihoods of current operators. Emongluck Stanley says it can help to carry more people, reducing severe traffic and lowering urban pollution. I support the idea. The conversation does continue online. Do share with us your opinions. For those following proceedings on X, the hashtag is NTV Poll, hashtag NTV Tonight, and hashtag NTV News. Return shortly with the latest from the world of business. Stick around.
New Tusker Premium Cider. Crisp, delicious apples crushed and blended to create a unique taste explosion.
Mami! Wanje sabo? Ugamontia. Urina kachi. Ha. Kagulini ziteka ko. Kagulini. I want everything, eh? Yes. So, when I pay the time, this will increase my loan limit. Momo. Madam, remove the food, put more meat, add the meat. Yes. Now, these are the fruits of paying your loan is in time.
That's right. Every time you repay your Momo loan on time, your loan limit can increase, giving you access to more money when you need it most. Dial *165*5# to borrow, pay back, and grow your limit with Momo loans.
You have juice? Yes. Juice in me.
Uganda's drive to build a competitive digital economy is shifting from training talent to finding markets for it. As the 4-year Uganda-Japan UJ Connect project enters its final year, its partnerships with Japanese firms, business matching platforms, and entrepreneurship programs are creating new routes into global markets. But the bigger test is whether those connections can survive beyond donor-backed support and turn Ugandan digital skills into contracts, businesses, and lasting jobs. Betty Ndagire reports.
is about to face the real taste of its digital ambitions. What happens when foreign project support ends? As the 3.5-year Uganda-Japan UJ Connect project closes in February, more than 600 young people have been trained and 660 ICT professionals registered on its job matching platform. The corporate challenge now is whether Uganda can turn these gains into sustainable companies.
On this project we came up with a system where young innovators, people who have just completed school with the different professions in software engineering and other ICT-related professions register, so that when we have any companies or any investors that want employees in ICT for business process outsourcing, if we want companies, for example, in Japan that have given jobs to Ugandans here, they want to go to a platform where they can access information on who is available to avail these employment opportunities.
We must ensure that the gains made so far are not only sustained, but also scaled up to create wider impact. Because the project itself can produce kind of the opportunity to make the environment a little bit to change, but it should be fully utilized by the Ugandan side to expand the impact of the project.
For the young trainees, the value of UJ Connect goes beyond classroom skills. They are getting something university often cannot offer: real projects, real deadlines, and exposure to international companies, while confronting gaps in infrastructure and project scale that limit Uganda's competitiveness.
After seeing this, I've seen the many opportunities that are available in this industry. There's this worry of AI is taking software engineering jobs and all that, but through this project, I've learned that if you develop your skills, if you work hard at it, if you're open to the opportunities around you, you don't just sit in your room, you go out and you look for the opportunities, you will find them.
One of the challenges we have is access to top-tier infrastructure. There's also the size of the projects, because natively our projects have not yet, we are getting there, but we have not yet reached the capacity.
The project may be ending, but its real measure is whether the opportunities it created continue to grow without it. Betty Ndagire, NTV Business.
Well, now, Stanbic Bank Uganda and the Nation Media Group Uganda have strengthened their partnership to expand financial education, promote access to banking services, and showcase the impact of businesses and financial solutions to Ugandans. Through co-created content, events, and digital activations, the partnership will reach millions of Ugandans with information on financial opportunities, banking products, and services. This collaboration also coincides with Stanbic Bank's 35 years of operations in the country, creating a platform to tell impactful stories about how businesses, communities, and livelihoods are being transformed through access to finance, as Ronan Ahabwe reports.
Informing Ugandans of the opportunities to change their own lives financially, we cannot do that without the support of our media partners. And that's really what today we're discussing. How do we partner with Nation Media across all platforms to educate Ugandans about our products, but also tell our story as Stanbic. So going forward, you'll see us pushing out a lot of content that is useful to the millions that follow Nation Media, but also the millions that bank with Stanbic.
As the leading independent media house in Uganda and Stanbic, the leading bank in the country, we met today to co-create areas of engagement, to co-create areas of content, areas of events and activations as they roll out their 35 years anniversary, celebratory activities, and as we also roll out 34 years of NMG into 35 years, 2027. So we would like to tell stories in the remaining part of the year into 2027.
Well, now let's focus on the financial markets. The Uganda shilling remained broadly stable against the dollar, but exhibited signs of vulnerability, trading within the 3,728 to 3,738 range throughout the day. Dollar inflows from commodity exporters and charitable organizations continue to provide support. However, these were largely absorbed by demand from corporates in the manufacturing and energy sectors. Well, you're still watching NTV Tonight. We return with the latest from the world of sport.
Entrance there and their exit there. What is it?
So where is the building?
Fast, stress-free construction. Get your factory-made buildings in 12 weeks with SafBuild. Order yours now. SafBuild, a quality building solution from Uganda Bati. Super Duper Refresher.
And in our sports piece, we kick off with volleyball. The Uganda Lady Volleyball Cranes' emphatic start to the 2026 Volleyball African Nations Championship continued today with a blistering straight sets victory over Burkina Faso following their win against Senegal last night. Uganda kept the momentum going and will now face Egypt to determine the winner of Group A.
Uganda will face Egypt in a battle for top spot in Group A after dispatching Burkina Faso today in straight sets. The win makes it 2 wins out of 2 for Uganda following their opening victory against Senegal yesterday evening.
The win is very important to Team Uganda because we are 4 in the group, and when we win 2 games, definitely you have qualified and moved it to the next step of round of 16. So we have qualified, and therefore we want to meet Egypt, and we see if we can step to be the leader in the group.
The clash against Egypt serves off at 10 a.m. East African time, a fixture Coach Protas Soita is not taking lightly. He highlights the key areas his team must refine to secure the win.
See, when I watched them, actually they have experienced players. There are 2 experienced players who have played for so long, and they know what to do on court. The other thing, as a full team of Egypt, they have their skill rate is too high. So we really need to actually work on our basics also very well to counter them.
Setter Hadija Achelon acknowledges the tough challenge ahead, but remains confident the team has what it takes to finish top of the group.
It's going to be a tough game, but I believe in the girls, and I know that with the training we have had, we are really going to give in our best for tomorrow's game, which is going to happen at 10 a.m. We are actually praying to reach the final. According to the way we have prepared and what the coaches have given us, we are really ready for that.
Well, now there's some key changes coming along as the 2026-27 Uganda Premier League returns this Friday, with defending champions Vipers Sports Club hosting NTV UPPC at the St. Mary's Stadium in Chitende.
Vipers Sports Club, who have been crowned Following their Super Cup success against Kitara FC last weekend, Vipers will kick off their quest for a third consecutive Uganda Premier League title and their 8th overall. However, this season's league will feature several changes compared to previous seasons. Bernard Bainamani, the CEO of the Uganda Premier League, attributes this to Uganda co-hosting next year's Africa Cup of Nations tournament.
They are also happy that we are going to host AFCON. But it goes with some give and takes, and this is one of them. Here, where we are at Kadiba, for example, Villa fans usually to enjoy here, and other fans usually to enjoy a match here. But the stadium is now closed for works.
The number of teams in this season's top flight has also increased from 16 to 18.
The 18 spirit was in preparation for the new format, whereby all teams would come out with the equal number of games after the season. Remember, at one time, team in the new format, some teams were going to come up with 34 games, others 32.
However, the league will revert to 16 teams for the 2028 season. A decision by Namani goes on to explain.
Each team will be playing a total of 34 games. And the relegation. 4 teams at the end of the season, all clubs will be relegated, and then 2 teams or clubs will be received.
Vipers will be looking to secure a third straight victory over Entebbe UPPPC, having won both home and away encounters last season. In the other opening weekend fixtures, KCCA-FC and NEC FC will lock horns in Lugogo on Saturday, while SC Villa and Kitara FC face off at Wankulukuku. On Sunday, Bull FC and Express FC battle it out in Jinja, while Maroons FC host URA FC. Noah Walakira, NTV Sport.
With cricket, after securing qualification for the 2026 Cricket World Cup qualifier playoff, the Cricket Cranes now turn their attention to defending the International League T20 continental title in Kigali.
Uganda's Cricket Cranes start the defense of their International League T20 continental crown against Malawi at the Gahanga B Cricket Oval in Kigali. Given the change in format of play from 50 over ODIs to T20s, 7 changes have been made to the squad that played in Tanzania early this month. Robinson Obuya, who scored the most runs in Kigali in 2024, returns to the fold. He was an opening batsman and will be looking to make a strong case to make the squad that will head to Nigeria for the upcoming ICC Men's T20 World Cup Africa Sub-Region Qualifier C. Convener of selectors Nehal Bibodi says the 7 changes for the T20 format were determined by the need to broaden the talent pool for the Cricket Cranes.
We have selected now a little younger side, so which we are looking into it as our future. The team is selected on the basis of their performance and particularly some last few tournaments on their behavior, side of discipline.
Riazat Ali Shah, Kenneth Waiswa, Cyrus Kakuru, Gerald Olipa, Juma Miyaji, Cosmas Cheuta and Joseph Baguma are the faces that remain from the successful campaign in Tanzania and will be looking to lead the charge for the Cricket Cranes given the experience.
We have a T20 format right now, and we have talked to the team, and we have done our talking, and we want to see where we can adjust from one day to T20. And
unlike 2024, this time round Uganda will face Malawi, Nigeria, Tanzania, Sierra Leone, Botswana, Kenya and Rwanda in the group stage. The top 4 will make the semi-finals, with the final set to be played on September 13th. Felix Manyindo, NTV Sport.
You know what, that does it for our bulletin tonight. Thank you very much for being part of us from the time we kicked off at 9 o'clock. We now leave the screen and the set for Annual Katamba as he gets into Ebigambo Tebita. Be part of those conversations and follow the proceedings online as well on YouTube at NTV Uganda. I'm Joran Paul Sonko, together with Maureen Nambaliwa. We shall be back tomorrow as we delve into the stories that have mattered and make headlines within the country and across the region. Good evening and have a good night.